Okay, mimics scare me, but there's something about this story that is just so frightening. I am not going to be able to sleep tonight. So Kelly lives in the Philippines in a really nice apartment. In front of said apartment is another apartment building. Now that apartment and the apartment that she lived in was haunted, and she knew this because she would always see figures, but she would always dismiss it due to her bad eyesight. Now Kelly's aunt lived on the second floor of the building that she lived in, and they lived on the ground floor. Now the two buildings face each other, and they have this railing in the hallway that allows them to see what's happening outside of the building whenever they are outside of the apartment. The nearer you are to the street, the nearer you are to the street light. The seep into the windows create a shadow of everything that hits it, making every move visible. So one night, Kelly decides that she wants to sleep in her aunt's apartment along with her family. Now it's important to note that her aunt had a toddler that would get really fussy in the evening. So keep that in mind. So they hang out for a little bit. She's hanging out with her cousins. They're chilling, they're eating, they're bonding, and then they decide to go to sleep. So they get all cleaned up and they go to settle down on the mattress that they have laid out on the floor. As soon as Kelly gets into bed, she notices that there's this coldness in the air that she can't really explain. The windows are not open, so she doesn't understand why it's so cold. So she turns and looks at her uncle and she's like, "Hey, is there a typhoon?" He just kind of smiled at her and said it's because the Burr months are near, meaning like September, November, October. So she tries to just brush it off, but she just cannot get this sense of restlessness like off the back of her neck. But before she can fall asleep, someone asks her to go lock the door. So she gets up and she goes to lock the door, and she said that when she was outside locking the door, she looked over at the other building and all of the lights were out and all these clothes were draped over the railings, and she said something about it looked so hypnotic, and it just gave her like this chill that if she stared at it for too long, she was going to see something. So she just shuts the door and she walks back inside. At this point, she's on edge at this point. So as soon as she fell asleep, she would wake up. And then she would fall asleep again and she would wake up again. And she didn't understand why this was happening. Now, by the third time she had woken up, she noticed that the spot next to her was empty. So she thought that her aunt had just gotten up to go to the bathroom. She sits there with her eyes open, just waiting for her to come back. She's sitting there for a minute, and a while passes and her aunt is not coming back. And then she hears the faucet turn on. But she notices that like this is happening for a while and she thinks it's really weird. So she decides to get up. She crawls over to the door. She opens up the door and she just peeks her little head out. But she's too afraid to like actually walk out into the hallway. She then notices something. She sees her aunt's shadow just like kind of against the wall, and it's just still, not moving, like unperturbed, just still. Now she knows that this was her aunt because of her messy bun and the way that her chin stood up like this. So she really wanted to tell her aunt, like yell out to her and tell her to come back inside, but something stopped her. There was something inside of her gut that was screaming at her not to say anything. So she just goes right back to her spot and she tries to fall back asleep. So she wakes up again, and again the spot beside her is empty. And so she gets kind of annoyed because this is the fourth time. She wants to hug her aunt, like it makes her feel comfortable, and she has no one to embrace. So she crawls to the door again. She again checks the living room. Same shadow, still there. It's her image. Only this time she's about to call out to her aunt, just about to call out to her, when her aunt just starts swaying back and forth. Her whole body is just swaying. Now at this point, she just has goosebumps all over her body because she's thinking in her head, why, first of all, why is she still out there? Why is she just standing there? And why is she swaying? And why did she start swaying right before I was about to call out to her? So she gets so creeped out, she can't even look at her anymore. She's like, I don't understand what she's doing. So she decides to sit back down by the door though. Since she's sitting now at this point, she's facing everybody who's sleeping on the mattress. She looks over. It's her aunt's toddler, her aunt's husband, and her aunt. She was in bed the whole time, only next to her husband snuggling on his chest. She said that she has no idea how she even slept that night, but she does remember contemplating whether she should wake her aunt up or like force her way into their cuddling, but it terrified her. She said the next day that she did her best to try to find objects that could come together to trick her eyes, objects that would look exactly like her aunt when put together, but obviously she could not find that. She said she's only told 3 people this, and now she's told thousands. And I am so grateful that I have this platform so that people can do that, honestly, because I know what it feels like to have something happen to you and try to tell people, and you can just tell that they just don't believe you, and you're just like, I know this happened. Like, this happened to me. I know it sounds so unbelievable, but it happened to me. And when you can tell a whole community of people who are going to believe you, it just really helps. And I was thinking about that today, and I just didn't realize that this could probably be helping a lot of people, because if I've never given my story to anybody, but I've told you guys, and it was so validating for me to have you guys the way that you responded. So I was thinking about that today, and I just had to share that. So I'm glad that I have this platform to do that. I will say that that story creeped me out so much. I don't know like what it was about it. It wasn't like a horrifying story or anything, but the swaying, ugh, That really got me. I don't know. But what do you guys think this was? I'm not even supposed to say the M word, and I said in the beginning of this video because I don't give a fuck. But do you think that's what it was? Or do you think it was something else entirely? It was like just a shadow. Like she didn't see her aunt. It was a shadow. Whatever it was definitely messing with her. That's for sure. I definitely feel like that's the case. Sorry I was fidgeting with this the whole time. I try not to do that. Someone's going to say something. But drop all your thoughts, opinions, and suggestions in the comments, please. But as always, please be respectful because she has, like she said, only told 3 people about this, and it can be scary to tell your stories to a bunch of people. And with that being said, I'm not going to do my favorite part, which is the shout out. AC Leg 1215. I wish that I could shout out every single one of you that was in that thread welcoming Gracie. I hope that's her name. Because that really made me feel so good. You have no idea what that did for my day today. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for welcoming Gracie. Again, I hope that's her name. I think it is. That's her profile name. Thank you for being so kind to her. Thank you for saying such nice things about me. Thank you for your support, for watching my videos. You have no idea how much you mean to me. I love you. And I wish I could do more than 2 shout outs tonight because I genuinely would thank everybody in that comment section. Gracie_Bengu. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for what you said. I just wanted to welcome you and say thank you for the comments that you left. I appreciate you so much. I love that you like my content. I love that you are here. I hope that I see more of you in my comments, and I'm just that, like I said, that whole thread just made me so happy today. That's why I made that video today. I mean, I made that video because of all the comments I've received in this past year, but that today just like really tipped me over and made me realize that all the comments compiled together are just so fulfilling. You guys fulfill me, and I'm so glad that you are here now to be a part of that. So thank you for watching me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being a part of this community now. I hope you like it here. I love you, girly. And with that being said, my name is Kajsa, and I tell your paranormal experiences on here or ones that you recommend to me every single night. So if you're into that, hit that follow button, and I just need you to do 3 things for me. What are those? Keep sending me your scary stories. Have a safe night. And what's the third one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Spooky kisses and haunted hugs.